Hello and welcome to another episode of FPL Expectations with me, Craig. Decisions, decisions, decisions. That's been the name of the game this week, or rather the past 2 weeks. What are we going to do? We've got chips to use, chips to burn, transfers to be made, players to select. But who? Well, we'll find out in this episode. Along with me on the show, we have our usual Mariner. Mariner, how you doing?
Oh man, it's just getting ridiculous, isn't it? I've not done anything for a few days, and I'm so stressed. And that's because all I'm doing is kicking the can down the road. That's it.
I can actually see the bags under your eyes right now. You've had those sleepless nights.
I've been playing golf. I went for a round of golf this morning, got soaking wet just to cheer myself up.
Well, so that's not made it any better, has it?
No.
But yes, sleepless nights and countless hours in front of that computer trying to organize your team ahead of game week 18. Alongside me and Mariner, we have for the very first time like to introduce you all to Samuel from FPL Wolfpack. Sam, how you doing, mate?
Yeah, I'm good. And I think this is the very first time I'm doing something live. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
There we go. You're right on the spotlight. There are people watching us as we speak, but don't worry, no pressure. We're very relaxed here at FPL Expectations, so take your time. No pressure whatsoever. We want to get into the nitty-gritty stuff, and when we do, that's when I'm sure you're going to be alive, and I doubt you'll be making many mistakes when it comes to FPL talk. Speaking of FPL talk, boys, it's the big question. It's what everyone wants to know ahead of game week 18 deadline, which is about 3.5 hours time. What are we all doing? Mariner, I've spoken a lot to you over the past 2 weeks. We both actually activated our free hit chip very late on. You a little bit earlier than me by a few hours yesterday, and I did mine just before I went to bed. We'll find out why you've done that, why you chose to activate it so late, despite all the news coming out of the UK, as well as the Premier League. Sam, on the other hand, I believe you activated it much sooner than me and Mariner. So we're going to find out.
I activated it this evening.
This evening, was it?
This evening.
Oh, well, later. Sorry, I should say later than Mariner and myself. But we're going to go to Mariner straight away. We're going to find out what each of you are doing for game week 18. Mariner, we're going to start with you. Before we look at your team, talk us through those hours that you were deliberating over which chip to use, who to select, who's going to be fit, and who's negative.
I mean, to be honest, it's been like a Netflix series. This has just been so much drama, so many twists, so many turns, and quite frankly, it got to about, I don't know. I think we did. When did we do the last show? Was it Wednesday last week or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
Well, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday. I can't. It might have been Thursday, and I tweeted the link out for the YouTube afterwards.
Yeah.
And then within 10 minutes, we could just throw the whole thing away.
Yeah.
The whole thing with the Aston Villa.
What was it? Aston Villa news that emerged straight after our show, wasn't it?
That's right. So it was the positive tests from about, was it Wednesday or something like that last week, where they all tested positive. So that just basically blew it. And I've just spent the best part of for the 30 to 40 minutes talking everybody up as to how we should maybe wildcard, or how I was thinking about wildcarding. And I've had so many messages saying, you sold that wildcard to me and now you're free hit. What the hell are you doing? And I'm going, well, mate, I didn't know what was happening. Do you know what's happening? Because if you do, I'll put 10 cents into the crystal ball machine and see who's going to be playing, who's going to get COVID, who's not getting COVID, which games are going to be played in which game week. Who's going to have a double game week, who's going to have a single game week, who's going to have a treble game week. We don't know.
Yeah.
So we've basically the moral of the story, as I've already said, is I've gone into can kicking mode, and I'm just going to kick the can down the road. I'm going to, and the only way I can kick the can down the road is to free hit. Because I genuinely don't know what to do. I think
one of the main things, I think one of the main things, when we talk about this, and Sam will agree with me, I'm sure, is the uncertainty going into game week 19, and that was the big one for me. I think a week ago when we did the show, for me it was a wild card, and it was a no-brainer. And then everything kind of changes with this Spurs fixture, for example. You get Spurs having great fixture against Fulham now, instead of what would have been a more difficult fixture against Villa. And then you have the possibility next week in game week 19 of Villa playing 3 matches.
And they've all got COVID.
Well, either way, I think they're still going to fill the team out. It could be the under 9s.
Everybody who's playing Villa. That's what we need. I load up on Villa players. I think we want everybody else. But no, I mean, look, just wind it back. When we started talking about this a few weeks ago with Joe, I was talking about the decision was, do I run with 7, 8, 9 players and just try and limp my way through the game week, hold the chips, blah, blah, move on? Those 7 players became 2 players, became 3 players. Yeah. Everything, it doesn't matter. I'm sure there's loads of people who are watching this are just going to basically say the same thing as me. We can't second guess what's happening. And that's why I have decided that's why I'm kicking that can down the road. And because quite frankly, if you were going to wildcard, so you're going to hit the wildcard. Now, some people may have no option but to hit the wildcard, particularly if they've burnt the free hit chip early. But and they've got no players, so they may have to do it. But if you're going to wildcard, what are you going to do the week after? Normally, you would bench boost. Now, if I was to wildcard, would I be certain that I'd be able to bench boost adequately at this moment? Not on your Nelly. I'm going to hope in hell of being clear of what's going on in game week 19. And if you do, like I say, please come and talk to me because I'd love to know.
Sam, I'm going to come to you. You mentioned that you only activated your free hit chip earlier this evening, a few hours just before you came on the show. What was your particular reason for leaving it, so late? And how many drafts did you do before you activated it?
Funnily enough, I had one draft way before. But that draft was scrapped as soon as the Man United fixture got into game week 18 and all that. And so I did 2 drafts, one last night and then went to bed. This morning did 1 draft and thought, hey, this one's better. Activate the free hit chip and here we are.
Okay. And
I don't
since you activated it, have you made any changes to it as you've seen a couple of press conferences have happened? Obviously, since you've activated it, has anything changed your mind in terms of player selection?
Not necessarily. I'm still 5 to 6 players are kind of settled. The other 4 to 5, I'm still pondering upon it. But yeah, it's basically from the same pool of players. I'm not really interested in that many players, so that's a good thing. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you another question. Something that Mariner kind of answered in his. But was there ever a time when you were flipping a coin between deciding which chip to activate, whether it was going to be the free hit or wildcard, or were you even planning on taking hits?
In terms of chips, I was pretty settled on using the free hit chip because I saved my wildcard up until game week 16, and then so the plan was free wildcard 16, free hit 18, and then bench boost 19. So the plan was pretty much set. And in the wildcard on game week 16, I only had 1 or 2 players that played in game week 18. So whatever happens, unless a miracle happens, I'm gonna free hit in game week 18 anyway. So the plan was pretty set. It was just a matter of who I pick.
Yeah. Perfect. Right, boys, it's that time when we're going to come to teams and have a look at the selection. I mean, I've obviously been on Twitter a lot over the last week or so, and you see all sorts of teams popping up. between us on FPL expectations. We've drafted a few and we've seen a lot. There's a midfield 4/5, which is pretty template, I would say. Mariner, obviously, I've had the chance to see your team. For Sam, I haven't actually seen your team now, so this is going to be really interesting. Mariner, we're going to go with you first, and I'm going to get it up on here. This is your free hit squad that you've selected going into game week 18. Talk us through it and the thinking behind the selections.
Well, for now.
Yeah, wow. There's not a lot. I mean, we're still anxiously waiting on that Pep Guardiola press conference, which
exactly that could change. That could change. That could change anything. I've just seen a comment on Twitter saying if someone tells me that Sterling's as much as wiped his own ass, then he's in my team. So, yeah, I think there's a few people waiting for this press conference. Look, I mean. Again, forgive me for quoting something I saw on Twitter, but I thought this sums it up. Don't worry if your wildcard is template. I'm sorry, if your free hit's template. Nobody gives a rat's. You don't give a rat's ass if it's template. I think it was. I can't remember who it was who said it. It's how many points you get from it, right? So that's why I've gone with that midfield: De Bruyne, Fernandes, Son, Rashford. You know, and Lacazette and Kane, because I think those 6 players are potentially the players who will make that difference to your team this week. Why Lacazette? Because it's a free hit, and I wouldn't normally own him.
Yeah,
and I want to have a bit of fun. It's been nothing but pain and suffering. And I quite fancy the likes of Lacazette because some people are saying Crystal Palace they're not bad, blah blah blah. When Palace go off the rails, they really go off the rails, and it just takes a couple of goals, and it could be chaos. The way that Arsenal, particularly Lacazette's playing quite well at the moment, so I quite fancy.
Just on Lacazette, just having a look through his last few games for Arsenal. The core has been good. I mean, the last 3 games you're talking about 8 points against Chelsea, 7 points against Brighton, and 12 points against West Brom. I mean, he's coming into this with obviously good form and a near guarantee start. You would think.
Correct.
From Mikel Arteta.
Correct. Yeah. And I'm just reading a comment from KK on the chats on the side saying it feels like Lacazette's a trap. Arsenal beating West Brom, suddenly they're world beaters.
Well, they also beat Chelsea, didn't they?
Who else are we going to pick? Callum Wilson?
Yeah.
Pull the other one. You must be joking. I'm not bringing him in. Not in a million years. I mean, Newcastle are no great shakes. That's my perspective anyway. So I just think that Lacazette is a 1 week. Yeah. He's a free hitter. He's going to come in. He's going to give it. I'm going to give it a go with him. And if it works, it works. And if not, then so be it. But obviously, I did the free hit draft without Spurs and without Spurs and Villa, and now I've hey presto, I've now got 3 Spurs in.
I mean, I think, like I mentioned earlier, I think, Mariner, I mean, the crucial bit in this Spurs selection, and like you, I mean, I think, like most of us on a free hit, you can't not go 3 Spurs on a free hit, especially when that fixture got changed from Villa to Fulham. And it's a Fulham side, we know, played 120 minutes with the full-strength team in the FA Cup on the weekend. Yeah. Spurs rested all their big boys. Son didn't get run out. Kane wasn't even in the squad. Reguilon came on in the 80th or 70th minute, 80th minute, whatever it was. And Ndombele didn't play. I mean, they left out key players, didn't they? Yeah. And they still had a convincing victory.
No, and you make a very, very valid point. You make about the rest time, and the preparation. I feel terribly sorry for Fulham, actually. But I mean, clearly they've no option. They've obviously been press ganged into doing this. But that it can't be the preparation. It's just of 120 minutes, and you're going to face potentially the best partnership pretty much in the history of the Premier League, right? In Kane and Son, with respect
in the history of the Premier League.
Pretty much. I think there will be.
That's a bit dodgy.
Oh, okay, that's a big shout, Mariner. I mean, we see some very good partnerships over the years.
If you look at the amount, their involvements, you look at the amount of, I'm sure I've seen this stat, I've seen it on the TV, and that's why I said it. If you look at the involvements of these two, that you try and find a pair who've had more involvements than them two together.
Yeah, I mean, as a United fan, the first one that springs to mind is York and Cole.
Not many. I'll have a look later. I'll have a look. I'll dig it out.
Gerrard and Torres.
Look, I still say.
Yeah.
They're a great partnership. Now, in real terms, are they off the boil a little bit? Possibly. The matchups that I do have shown the matchups have shown that Spurs in the last 6 are nothing like as good as they were earlier.
Yeah.
But did we see some green shoots of recovery with Spurs last week? Just like we saw with Arsenal a few weeks ago when I talked about Arsenal about 3-4 weeks ago. I suggest, are we now starting to see Arsenal come? And now we're talking about them. So maybe we're seeing Spurs coming back. And of course, they've got Sheffield United next week, which is even more interesting if you own them anyway. So I think, Kane and Son, very good choice. Kane, potentially a very good captaincy choice, I think, as well. Dyer, boring pick. But are they going to keep a clean sheet? They've got a very, very good chance of keeping a clean sheet. I think they're second in bookies odds for keeping a clean sheet behind Man City. And I do tend to look at bookies odds because bookies are normally right, as I found out.
Are you hinting anything? Yeah. Are you hinting anything here, Mariner?
No. I'm just saying. Let's put it this way: you don't know a broke bookie, do you? Broke bookie. So look, I do look at the clean sheet stats, and City and Spurs are right up there, as are Arsenal, and that's why Leno's in there. So that's pretty much where I'm going. I'm hedging my bets a little bit. I've always said I feel that it's probably more suited to attack it rather than try and go for clean sheets. I've had a Newcastle defender in there at one stage. Another Fernandes. I think Mitchell's a 3.9 shoe-in for in pretty much any side. And then let's face it, if you want to have a bit of a fun, then pick Brewster's in my team. What? For 1 week only, right?
Just for you brought him back just for budget reasons.
I've never owned him. This is the first time.
You never owned him at all.
First and last time I own Brewster.
Okay, interesting.
No. So at the moment it looks like 3-5-2, and the other player I just want to mention is Smith Rowe, and I would love to be able to get to Saka, but I can't. I don't think I can do it, and I'm going to have to downgrade somewhere if I want to try and get to him. So it looks like it's Smith Rowe, and it looks like I might be giving him a run out as well in that formation. So that's probably my trade-off for going pretty hard with respect to those 6. But as I said, let's see.
Interesting times. Sam, we're going to come to you right now and see which team you've gone for in your free hit. And we're going to see how similar your team is to Mariners as well. Just talk us through this selection. Or do you have it on the pick team?
No, I'll just go to this one.
Starting 11.
Oh, that one. Okay.
Yeah. It'll be a little bit easier.
Okay, so let me just. Okay, is it clear?
Yep.
Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so the ones that are obvious are Son and Kane. They're pretty obvious. They're facing Fulham. Like as Marina said earlier, it's pretty obvious. And then there's Bruno Fernandes. I mean, again, another one of the shoe-ins. And then there's De Bruyne, and then there's Cancelo and Stones. Those are all shoe-ins. The ones that I'm currently debating over are Cavani at the moment, because let's face it, right? He has to play against Burnley because we have used Greenwood and James against Watford. And we're not going to play a diamond against Burnley. So chances are Cavani's going to start. He hasn't played in the last 3 matches, so he's probably a bit rusty, and we'll probably need him against Liverpool anyway. So I think he's going to get a run out, at least 70 to 80 minutes. And I'm not sure I haven't checked this, but I think he has about 5 goal involvements in 300 odd minutes. So his return rate is pretty good. So I'm just going to put him in there. Like, people are saying Martial, but 8.8 million, and he's a bit hot and cold this year. So I'm not too convinced on Martial, even as a United fan. So I favor Cavani more. And I don't have space for a Rashford in midfield as well. So, yeah, Cavani comes in.
One thing I would say about Cavani, as a United fan as well, he's coming off. He hasn't played for 3 matches now. I know Ole came out and said, he's still sharp and this and that. But does that come into your thinking?
You mean the press conference?
Not really. The fact that he hasn't played the last 3 games, and he might not, be as sharp as how he was just before that.
He came into our squad without playing a single match for 6 months, and he looked sharper than most of our team. I'm pretty sure he can handle 3 matches with not playing 3 matches. And even then, it's just about a week or so. So it shouldn't really matter that much, in my opinion. And other than that, you have Neto. Another one I'm unsure of. If I can free up cash from somewhere, I'm thinking of putting him up to Zaha, because Zaha always tends to score against Arsenal for some reason. So I'm kind of leaning. So that's another dilemma that I have. Yeah. And then you have Dyer at the back. I want to go to Reguilon, but again, cash is a problem. Holding, I want to go to Tierney, but again, cash is a problem. In goal, I really have no idea who I want to put. So I just put from a random team that I don't actually own. So Darlow goes in there. And the problem with Darlow at the moment is Dubravka, because I'm not sure which one will start. So go towards the bench.
Crafty.
But that's a lot of money on your bench there, isn't it?
Oh, it's too much on your bench.
That's too much. Yeah. To be fair, I can actually.
And you're talking about freeing up funds.
That's remember how I said I don't cash. So what I'm thinking of is going from Darlow to, let's say, Leno, and then going Dubravka all the way to, let's say, 3.9 keeper or 4 million keeper. That frees up 1.2 million. That should get me one upgrade. Either holding to Tierney or Neto to Zaha. That's it. So that's another one that I'm thinking. That's pretty much it. Other than that, the bench is pretty sorted. Smith Rowe, he's probably the best bench option. I mean, Marina's actually giving him a run out. So do I really need to explain?
I was just going to ask you, you're not tempted to play Emil Smith Rowe, especially with the form that he's in, came off the bench over the weekend against Newcastle, scored a goal, and has been involved in a lot of, the Arsenal attempts on goal and goals, leading up. So surely you've got to be tempted to play him at home against Crystal Palace.
Of course I'm tempted.
Me too. It could go horribly wrong though, Sam. But if worst comes to worst, just blame me.
I mean, we'll see. For now, he's first sub. In case one of the 11 misses out, he'll come in. Yeah. And then you have Mitchell. Yeah. Then you have Mitchell and then Brewster. My first and last time as well, by the way.
Craig.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just going to ask you quickly.
Oh, sorry, Craig. I was just going to say, if you want to just I've got on my screen now, if you just want to share it, I've put the updated fixture difficulties on. If you want to have a quick look at that whilst we're just talking about Sam's team for a very quick split second. So if you look at that, you can see, look for the green in blank game week 18, attack, Arsenal, City, United. Okay. Very green. Look at the defence, Arsenal, City, not so much United. Wolves against Everton is a good match.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, I actually thought of Saiz, and I
I've had
jumped that idea quite a while.
Yeah, I've had
because he gets a lot of shots. Yeah,
as well.
Because more than the clean sheets, it's like the fact that he's an actual threat from set pieces as well.
Yes.
So
and we know that obviously DCL is not available for the fixture, which is always very good. And I think possibly in his place is Cenk Tosun, who is not exactly.
Is Richarlison fit as well?
Is Richarlison
doubtful? He might be fit. There's Carlo Ancelotti didn't really come out and say that he was ready to start. So in my mind, it's you're probably expecting Everton to do everything they can to get him fit. But I mean, the other option is Cenk Tosun. So I can see the sense in a size pick. To be fair,
to be fair, right? Carlo Ancelotti once said Rodriguez wasn't fit, and then 3 days later he's playing in a Merseyside derby. So you can't really trust the bastard.
Love it.
Excellent. The first word of the night, and it's not even from me.
He'll give James a run for his money.
Nobody can do that.
So we're just going to come back to your team, Sam, and if you could just scroll up. So what I see immediately, and this I think will tie in nicely with the captain metric, which we're going to follow on from this, is that you've given the armband to Son. Is that something that you're looking to change before the deadline, or is that a stick for you?
Not a stick. So currently it's between Son, Fernandes, De Bruyne. One of those three will get it. Right now, I kind of put it on Son as default in case I forget or I didn't change it in time before the deadline, it'll get onto a higher zone player. So damage won't be that much. Other than that, the one that I'm currently tempted towards is probably Kevin De Bruyne. That's first choice, and then Son is second, and then Fernandes is third. Because I don't know, I just have a feeling we will score a few, but Fernandes won't be involved that much.
Okay. That's very interesting. Okay, good team there. Obviously not finalized, Sam, right? You still got a couple of decisions to make in terms of your keepers and where you can free up some funds to obviously upgrade. But we're going to go leads us nicely into the captain metric that Mariner usually does for us.
You ain't got it. No, I put it on Twitter though, so unless I just share my Twitter,
just get it up on Twitter. That'll be fine.
I'm looking around.
Straight up from that. I mean, you talk about the 1, 2, and 3. The captain metric obviously tells us that that Fernandes is the man to captain this week, followed by Kevin De Bruyne, and in third place it's Kane. Does this change your thinking behind it? Because obviously the advantage for Kevin De Bruyne is he has played over the last few weeks. He has played in a more advanced position. Obviously they didn't have a striker. Against Chelsea, he played as a striker, did well. And then, he's playing at home against a Brighton side, where else Bruno Fernandes is on pens. Obviously, United have done really well away from home. And with Bruno Fernandes, though, like you said, it's whether he turns up or not. He's not always involved with the play, as we saw in the Carabao Cup semi-final. But United are good for a few penalties usually.
I was going to say, from my perspective, Craig, I mean, whilst and I've got the metric up now, I'm not sure if you can see it, but whilst Bruno looks to be a standout, I made a point of saying this on the tweet which I sent out earlier. This metric does not. It looks at shots in box, big chances, and XG against shots in box conceded, big chances conceded, and expected goals against. Right, but what it doesn't take into account is if Pope has a good day.
Yeah. And that was one of the points I wanted to bring up just now. I mean, Burnley having improved immensely since obviously Pope's come back, Tarkowski's come back, Ben Mee's come back. I think they might have a little bit of problem at left back if Charlie Taylor might not play the match. But I mean, it's so crucial to have, both your first choice centre back pairing along with, your England international goalkeeper at the back. I mean, it makes a massive difference from that 5-0 victory that City had earlier on in the season.
But even if Burnley,
to be fair, City always. Oh, sorry.
You carry on, Sam.
Oh. To be fair, City always win 5-0 at Burnley, so you can't really count that.
Go Mariner.
No, I mean, again, this works out that Burnley are conceding, Man United are creating chances. They're creating shots in the box, getting shots in the box, and their XG is good against Burnley's, which isn't so good on the other side. But as I say, it comes down to the fact that when Man United get a big chance, is Pope going to pull off a worldie? And the chances for that, as we saw last year, he has that in his back pocket, doesn't he? Whereas, look at Brighton. They on paper they look quite good, or they look better, but they've conceded so many goals. They're an absolute met. The goalkeeping situation is pretty dire. I think you obviously got Ryan, who's probably played his last game for the club by all accounts. It's Sanchez who's playing in goal at the moment.
Correct.
So Sanchez is playing in goal at the moment, albeit he's doing okay, but no great shakes. And I just think this game.
We got Lanty out.
Well,
I just had to bring that out just to wind you up a little bit, mate.
What's new there? At least I don't own him anymore to be red flagged. But what's new? But no, I just think that I'm going against the metric this time. I'm going with KDB.
Okay, interesting. So Mariner's going KDB. Obviously, Sam, you're going to ponder on your decision a little bit later. We've got 3 hours till the deadline. So exactly 3 hours till the deadline. So still have enough time to make the necessary changes and your captaincy choice. Just have a look at the comments on the side. Guys, I haven't forgotten you. We will answer your questions at the end of it. So don't worry about that. We will spare some time for you guys. Obviously, it's such a crucial game week. I know everyone is dying to get their teams mentioned and the teams answered and questions answered, sorry. But we will just bear with us. Once we get through everything that we need to, we will come to you. So Sam, comfortable with your team going forward? One of the things that stood out to me, which is, I know Son's template, Fernandez's template, De Bruyne's template, but that Neto pick kind of stood out. I mean, that was one I didn't see coming. And any reason behind this against Everton?
Not necessarily any particular reason. It's just that I kind of like Neto as a player, and I don't know. I just feel like a return or two is coming, and he has been ticking along nicely over the past a month or so. So I just stick him in there. And is Coleman fit? If he's not fit, you never know what's coming on. You never know what's coming.
He is lightning. The one thing that worries me about Wolves, and I think defensively they're a lot more sound than they are going forward. I don't mind. I think the size pick is a really good one because he's got attacking threat. Obviously, Wolves I think are good defensively, but going forward, Traore is in and out of the squad.
The unfortunate thing about Wolves is when at the start of the season, when Jimenez is there, Neto and Podence weren't that good, but Jimenez is out and both of them actually turn into wall beaters. Like, imagine if Neto had Jimenez to cross to.
Yeah. Well, which is one of the main things, because when I watch Wolves play, obviously Fabio Silva, a young kid, new to the league, paid a lot of money for him, but hasn't quite. Sorry,
I kind of feel for him because he was supposed to be like eased in, and then Jimenez gets injured, and he has to be rushed in.
Yeah, they have, however, Wolves brought back Patrick Cutrone from Serie A. I think he was at Fiorentina. So they did pay a lot of money for him just over a year ago. Wouldn't be surprised to see him start. Okay, but we're going to move on from that. that's your team, Sam. Obviously, as you mentioned, not set in stone yet. So whoever's watching right now, do not take this. Are you going to do a team reveal just before the deadline, Sam?
I kind of always forget to do team reveals, but if I remember, I'll try to do one.
Yeah. Well, that's not good. Set your alarm, mate. That's a great tip there. Mariner, and to you as well, is this, maybe that's pretty much your final team, isn't it? Any real changes you're looking to tinker? Or will the PEP press conference, which has started now, be decided?
That could change, mate, because to be honest, I'm as I said earlier, I'm an attacker in a free hit.
Yeah,
I can't see the point in playing a free hit and not attacking. So if Sterling's fit, I might give it a gamble.
Wow. And obviously,
only 1 week after all, isn't it?
Who's taking his place? I mean, I've seen your midfield.
I'd have a look. No, I mean, to be honest, look, I don't know. I mean, again, I've just
got a double city defense, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, I'd obviously take one of those out. But I mean, to be honest with you, I might take Rashford out.
Yeah.
Might take Rashford out, actually. Because, again, I've just said that I think that Manchester United might find it a little bit challenging up at Burnley. It's never easy up at Burnley anytime, especially not in the middle of the
Burnley always turn up against us.
Night, right?
Yeah.
We are Burnley's cup final.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think this is. I mean, the thing. I agree with you. It's never easy going up to Burnley, but there's so much on the line for United as well in this match, isn't there?
I'm not saying they won't win. I think they'll win, but I'm not sure how
they return. I get you. Yeah.
Since they got back promoted to the Premier League, every time we visited Turf Moor, it's been 2-0, 2-0, 1-0, 2-0. So I wouldn't put it past us to win another game 2-0.
Yeah.
It will be low scoring, I think.
Yeah. Whereas
perfect.
I see the City game.
That's a bloodbath.
3-0, maybe 3-1, but I hope not. But 3-0 probably.
Okay. We're gonna go, and it's that time where we answer questions from the community. Unless Mariner, do you have something you want to share with us? I've seen it. Captaincy poll. Let's do it.
No, we need to see choice. Don't worry about the captaincy.
So, guys, wait. Before you click it, let's explain to the viewers what this actually is. Obviously, we know that Mariner every week comes out with his captaincy metric, where the stats decide who the best captain pick for the week is. However, we do have another very reliable source, and it's so far away from the data. It's the other end of the spectrum, but it's Oliver, Mariner's cat, who actually has a pretty good knack of picking the right captain. I don't know what his record is so far this season, Mariner, but I don't know if you keep tabs either.
Not quite as good as the metric, but as I said, you got to remember that this cat once picked Saudi Arabia to win in the World Cup, right?
As you remind us every week. Every
week. So don't trust him. And the other thing is he seems to have a left bias. Let's go with this.
And the captain pick is KDB.
I'm going Bruno.
Sam has absolutely no faith in Oliver the cat whatsoever.
I mean, with all honesty, it was a choice of him or Bruno because somebody actually asked me on Twitter to do it.
Yeah.
I say, this is going to be this is Mrs. Mariner managed to find a bit of time to mess around with some new software that she's got on her phone to make it look a bit better.
That's really good. I liked it.
And the idea, what I'm going to do for the future, just to let you know, is I'm actually going to put a poll out on earlier in the week. And then what we'll do is we'll take the top ones out of the poll and then we'll let him pick. Okay. So I think that's the best way. But we're going to have to keep because it keeps going left, right?
Yeah, So
another way we could do is let the cat click on the poll and then we choose that one.
Oh God!
It's getting a bit too technical for the cat now. I think.
Sammy's a cat.
Just put a thumb there and see whichever one he selects.
All right, we're going to move on to a question from the community. This is the section where we answer all your questions, and I've seen quite a few coming through from the start. So if you haven't already put your question through in the comment section, please do. And obviously, our experts Sam and Mariner will answer them. Just going to read through. First of all, thank you everyone for joining the stream and watching us. Hope you've enjoyed it so far. Sorry. I just seen the DCL has been a problem for a couple of you out there. Forces you to free hit. Yep, I think the DCL one. I don't think a lot of us saw that coming. Virgil van Dijk. I'm sure it's not the real Virg, but he does have a lot of time on his hands since he has no game to prepare for.
So you never know. Going.
Yeah. He says Watkins and Martinez better not have COVID, lol. One thing that I did see on Twitter, now I don't know how genuine this is, and this was from a Villa forum, was that all the main players from Villa did test positive for COVID. And I don't know how true that is. Please don't quote me, but it is something that I saw on a Villa forum that got posted up, and literally every key player from Villa was named in there. So yeah, so let's just keep our eyes on some of those forums and see what news emerges from Villa Park. Sam, you've got quite a few friends here. Swing says hi. KK says, I feel like Laka is a trap. Arsenal beating West Bromwich Albion, suddenly they're world beaters. I think we did mention this as well. Is Laka a trap though, Sam? I mean, showing good form coming into it. Oba did get a goal on the weekend, did pop up in that central forward position, got a goal. Is Laka's place under threat, or will his good form in the last few matches see Arteta starting him?
I feel like Aubameyang hasn't done enough to deserve a start ahead of Lacazette. So I'd feel Lacazette has to start, and if Aubameyang wants to start, he can go from the left. I think Martinelli, is he injured? If he's not injured,
yeah, Martinelli's injured. Martinelli got injured in the warm-up just before the Newcastle match, so he's out for a while.
The guy can catch a break.
He can't. He couldn't catch a flu. Next up is a question for you, Mariner. Is Gundogan a better option than both Emil Rowe-Smith or Smith-Rowe and Saka?
That's a good one, that. I actually think it's a really, really nice option for this week. He's probably the differential pick out of the lot, I would say. He was rested at the weekend. He's got 3 and 4. He's getting into the box late. He's picking those cutbacks up, which is what City are best at. Yeah. He really does. The only risk is that if they change back, and he ends up sitting more in that 6 role. That's the thing. But at the moment, where he's playing at the moment is a great option. So yeah, for me, I would, if I had the cash, and probably a tiny bit more, I think, is it from Gundogan?
Yeah, to 5.4, I think he is.
0.1 or something like that.
5.4.
Yeah, he's not much, but Smith Rowe definitely. Saka probably a bit closer, but Saka's got a great fixture as well. And again, his numbers and stats are pretty good. But no, I think Gundogan's not a bad Gundogan or whatever you pronounce it. Sorry, I'm from Grimsby. No, he's pretty good. Good option.
Karthik, hello. Thanks for joining the stream. Swing, thoughts on Cavani? I think we covered that one. Sam did, because he's got him in his free hit team. So I'm sure you saw that because you've been on the stream with us from the start. This is a good one. Hold on. Let me just get it up. Sorry, my mouse is going a little bit crazy here. Where is that question? There we go. Sorry, Mariner, you do get covered up a little bit in this, but I've somehow unexpectedly settled on a 4-5-1 for this free hit this game week. But even as Aguna cannot commit to triple Arsenal, seen a lot tripling up on the free hit.
To be
Sam,
fair,
I'm going to come
it's
to
natural.
you. I'm going to come to you for this one. Tripling up on Arsenal. Now, Arsenal have been in good form. We've seen, obviously, Lacazette is a big option for Arsenal. Emil Smith-Rowe for his price, Saka for his consistency, and Holding at the back has proven. Obviously, he comes in at a good price point. He's been in a few teams. Kieran Tierney, I think I saw a stat where he's got the fourth best crosses into the box, and most dangerous crosses into the box, or something like that for a defender. Is it a danger to triple up on Arsenal, or is that the way forward this week?
I wouldn't mind tripling up for just 1 week, to be honest, right? Because all of them are so cheap. Like Saka is 5.3, Smith-Rowe is 4.4, Holding's 4.4, Leno is 4.9. That's actually cheaper than Dalo and Martinez and etc. So I have a Newcastle keeper is more expensive than Leno. So
yeah, would you believe it?
Yeah, and Lacazette, he's in that 8 million range. You can say it's a bit on. He's probably the most expensive Arsenal asset you go. So tripling up, I wouldn't be against it because the fixture, Crystal Palace, even though they've improved slightly over the last few weeks, they aren't a really good team. So yeah, I'm not against tripling Arsenal, although I am not tripling up on Arsenal.
Okay.
Because
yeah, Mariner, for you, Oba for the free hit?
No. Next question.
Lacazette or Rashford? So that was answered so quickly. Now this is a weird one. This is a funny one because I know, Mariner, you've obviously gone for both in your team. But obviously they're both not cheap. Rashford, I think, in the 9 million range, Laka in the 8 million, as Sam told us just now. For those of you who don't obviously have a good, great team value like yourself, Mariner, if they had to, choose one or the other, who would you be going for?
Well, they're almost certainly going to be owning Bruno. Almost certainly, because everybody. Yeah. So let's assume they own Bruno. I would go with Lacazette.
Okay, perfect. Here's another one. Hadi Ryan, hi, how you doing? We see you regularly on here, so thank you for joining us once again. Sam, this one's for you. I'm going for De Gea for blank game week 18. Anyone else? Now, I'm not going to lie. I've had him in my team in one of my drafts, and I only pulled my chip last night. So he's been in a few of the drafts I've done. I was eventually priced out of him, so I've stepped away from that. But is De Gea worth? I mean, we know Burnley are pretty sound defensively, but they don't score many goals, do they? I mean, Chris Wood, who is Joe's absolute nightmare, Ashley Barnes, James Rodriguez, they haven't really, scored a lot of goals this season.
No, I mean, look, my perspective is, if you can afford him, what if you wanted a Manchester United defender, right? Or so look at it, you got De Gea, you've got Shaw. Is he going to play or not? We don't know. Yeah, that's a 50-50 with him and Telles. I can't call it. I've been asked to call it a number of times, and in the end,
I'm going to call it.
In the end, I just said heads or tails. I told someone heads or tails on Twitter earlier on. But no, look. So you've got Wan-Bissaka, you've got Maguire, who might do okay. I don't know. Maybe Maguire's a decent shout this way. I have no idea, but he's an option, isn't he? But he's a bit expensive, so I always go for the cheap. I go cheaper. I always will.
Okay. Anything to add to that, right? As a United fan?
Yeah, the thing with our defense is, right, none of them are actually pretty good options for this week. Like, if Shaw was fit, because, right, in the press conference, they said Shaw is He trained, but not so sure. So if Shaw was like 100% fit, I'll probably go Shaw, because currently he's in better form than Telles. So I'll probably go Shaw. But other than that, you have Maguire's expensive. Lindelof and Bailly share a spot. I cannot call between those two. And then you have one Bissaka who only plays well attacking wise if you have an actual winger down that side. Rashford played down there against Aston Villa and he did pretty well there. Other than that, he's pretty bad attacking wise. And then in goal, we don't really get that many save points unless we're playing one of the top sides. So I wouldn't spend 5.3 million on a keeper whose ceiling is 6.
Yeah. Okay. We're going to go to this. I've got to bring this up for you, Mariner. Laz Bello kindly did a little bit of research for us here at FPL Expectations. The record for the most Premier League goal combinations is held by Drogba and Lampard, 36. Son and Kane are on 31. Found the info on the FPL website. So that is absolutely spot on. They're on course for it, Mariner. And we fully expect them to break it, possibly even this game week. Who knows? We'd love that, wouldn't we?
I thought I dreamt it.
Sweng asks the big question, which everyone wants to know: are you watching Sheffield United versus Newcastle?
No.
Nah. But I am, Sweng, as I told you. And that was in response to me because I did tell Sweng I will be watching it. And the only reason I will be watching it is because United play straight after. So it's no point me sleeping for it.
It's a couple of hours rest. It's actually pretty good. I'm actually sleeping for it, and then we can play up.
I'll wait. Well, I've got Wilson, so yeah.
Oh.
So I'm gonna stay up for that.
Seriously.
Hi, good afternoon, FPL Tips. Nice to have you on here. Fulham is 8 in defensive stats. Not as bad as we thought.
No, but Scott Parker has just said we are not prepared.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that's it. That's done. Triple captain. If only we could.
I mean, you know me on stats. I love my stats, and
you are a stat.
The matchup on Spurs and Fulham is absolutely right. It's very close indeed. In fact, it's virtually neutral, and that says on a normal week, you would probably expect this to be a pretty close game, but they've not prepared. So this could be an absolute hammering.
Okay. Just away from this, I've just been checking Twitter as we go on. Ben Dinnery has reported, or obviously taking a quote from Pep, that Nathan Ake will be missing the match. Eric Garcia, Adrian Bernabe, and Cole Palmer are self-isolating. The rest are okay, which means that Ferran Torres, Doyle, Carson, and most importantly, Sterling are all available. So that's going to keep you active for the next few hours, I assume, Mariner?
Yeah, I'm going to have a look at that, aren't I? It also says John Stones is an excellent pick now.
Yeah. FPL Tips joined us late into the stream, but needs a bit of help. Still hasn't decided on his chip strategy, if he free hits or not. Mariner, any advice?
I normally ask Tips what to do. I mean, look, I think obviously I don't know on his team. My perspective is I'm in a reasonable rank, and I'm almost looking at it as a bit of a shield rather than a sword this week. In the fact that if I've got 7 or 8 players, what happens if I lose 2 or 3 of those players? And it's entirely possible. How many game weeks have we gone to our 2nd or 3rd sub in the last few weeks? Says me with a really shitty bench. Now, but that's my problem. So that's what switched me on. I mean, as it happened, I was teetering on the brink of trying to run through it, but then I thought, hang on a minute, I might lose a player here or there. Then the Villa news came out, then it all wiped it out anyway. So I think, let's face it, I'm sure I worked out with 8 players. I think it's about a negative 20. Something like that. I think around 20 points. But remember, that was before, I calculated that before the Fulham and Spurs game. Because I think now, potentially, this free hit is more it's much more attackable now, given that fixture. So that gap it might be bigger. And of course, if all it takes is for these to go off, for Son and Kane to go off, and most people will have them, I would imagine, or at least one, then that, if you've got 8 or 7 or 6, you could really suffer. If I could hold my free hit chip, I would have done. Definitely held it.
Just going to go reading the comments here, Sam. I think a few towards you. They're a bit shocked by your Cavani pick. Virgil van Dijk says, bruh, Martial is going to start. And KK asked, do you expect Cavani to score a hat-trick against Burnley? Is it worth the risk? Astrolicious, hi, how are you? Thanks for joining us once again. Oh, Joe's on as well. Yeah, that's good. Yes, Tips is on here, which is massive for us. Very surprised that he did leave it late, but it's good that he's on here and wants Mariner's advice for a change.
I normally listen to Tips.
Yeah, exactly. Hi, Ankit. Haven't seen you on before, but hi, how you doing? Thank you for joining the stream. Just trying to see some more questions. It's going to be Kane, right? Team Kane. Okay, we've got a bit of a spam here. We're going to go down. Did he ask a question? He didn't ask a question. Okay, question, please. This is for Ilyas, who is determined that we hear his question and answer it as well. Please, Captain Son or KDB or Bruno. Ilyas, I'm guessing you didn't watch watch us earlier on in the stream, but I'll give you the benefit of the doubt because you've been so persistent on the comments. We'll answer it for you and save you the time from going back into the stream. Captain Son, KDB or Bruno? Sam first. Pick one.
Just one? KDB.
Well, you can only have one captain, can't you?
KDB? Did you say?
KDB, yeah.
Oh, you said KDB. Okay.
Yeah.
And Mariner?
Yeah, both me and the cat are going for KDB.
KDB. It's 3 of you going for KDB, that is. Yeah. Don't forget about Sam.
Cat's going for KDB as well.
All 3 of you. KDB. So, Ilyas, there is your answer. KDB is the man to captain, according to our experts. Thanks for some of you guys who stepped in. I think Ilyas is probably new to the show, so didn't know that we have a question from the community segment later on. Let's try to see. Okay, Laz Bello. I like this one. I have Tierney, but I am considering taking him out to field Zaha against Arsenal. What are your thoughts? This is good. I like this question. And the 2 reasons why I like this, because I think Tierney, obviously, over the last few weeks, has gained a lot of traction in terms of ownership. I think a lot of people are starting to jump on the Arsenal and Kieran Tierney bandwagon. But Zaha was meant to join Arsenal about 18 months ago. Maybe might have something to prove against them, and he's playing up front. Mariner, should he make this move or not?
Well, transfer window's open again, so he'll probably score.
Yeah. And Sam, thoughts?
Yeah, I said a bit earlier, right? Zaha always tends to score against Arsenal, at least in my memory for some reason. So yeah, I wouldn't be against it.
Okay, Mariner, sorry, you're going to add to that.
No, he is a worry. As somebody who probably will have Leno in goal, Zaha is a concern because he always has a habit of popping up when you sometimes when you least expect him to. But look, Palace are really no great shakes, and I would hope that the matchup would be enough, but you can never tell with Zaha.
Okay. Here, Sterling to me is what Richarlison is to Mariner. Oh. Love that. And I can add to that, which Che Adams is to Mariner, and what Chris Wood is to Joe.
And what Zaha is to James.
Sorry? And what Wilfred Zaha is to James. Yeah. Perfect. I think I need to find someone that I really hate that passionately. Where's my shirt? Sterling is FPL Matcha always joins us on the show, and he broke the news, actually. I didn't really need to look at my Twitter feed. Sterling is fit, so that's confirmed. That's great. Everyone's loving Oliver's KDB pick, so that looks like it's going to be the pick of the week, to be honest with you. So no Bruno for a lot of you from the messages that I'm seeing. Astrolicious, I just pray that a gaming commission doesn't observe Oliver's action. That's good. That's good.
I'd like to see them prosecute him.
Yeah. Karthik asked Son or Rashford on a free hit. I think we answered that one, didn't we? Sorry. So that's my bad there. Son or Rashford on a free hit?
No, I think we did Lacazette.
Was it Lacazette just now? Okay, Lacazette. Sorry. Son or Rashford on a free hit?
Son for me. Son for me.
Okay, Son for both of them. Nice one, boys. We at least both agree in that. Kane. Are you reading the comments as well? Yeah, that's my mate there. That's yeah. So Ali Sufyan is going to stick with chip only for double game week. What? Going to stick with chip only?
I think he just means he's going to run with it. So he's not going to play.
Yeah, he is, and he follows up nicely with this red arrow. Let's go. So I think he's just going to. Don't be. Yeah,
it's brave move, but if it pays, it could be absolutely golden if it pays off. If this is a quiet game week, Ali Sufyan's going to be laughing all the way into game week 26 and 29, right? All the way in.
Sam, who do I choose? Cavani, Wilson, or Lacazette? So I'm guessing he's got a lot of money to burn on this. But if you had to choose one, I know you went Cavani, but if you had the money to do either of those three, which one do you do?
Still Cavani.
Still Cavani. Interesting. Mariner, obviously don't agree. I know you have Lacazette.
Well, it won't be Wilson. He cropped that one off in the middle. I mean, look, for me, the issue with Cavani, and I really do value Sam's knowledge of Manchester United, which I really don't have. But Martial's one of those players who, when he gets onto a run of form, he tends to score quite a few. I don't, and as a result, I'm not entirely sure. I know Cavani's available, but I'm not entirely sure who's going to start. And Martial, I suppose, is at least in the sort of like teetering on the brink of a bit of a run. And I made this point before a few times to other people. Martial last season nearly pretty much dug me out of a hole for the last 8 weeks because I never owned Bruno once.
Yeah.
And Martial, when Martial gets going, he can be really, really good. If you're picking out these three, I'd go Lacazette. For that reason, because I can't be certain on Cavani. I mean, look, Sam, it's a brave call. A brave call. And I hope it pays off for you.
Perfect.
I wouldn't
To be fair, right? None of the other striker options are that highly owned. So if Cavani fails, it won't hurt me that much either. So, yeah. And this might be the only chance I ever get to own him because you never know when.
You could always go for Chris Wood and then pile your money into midfield, of course.
It was that directed at Joe, yeah?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course it was.
I own Chris Wood when can own Rian Brewster.
Oh, no. Now you're really pushing it.
I mean, you get
2 or 3 strikers, boys, for this game week. 2. 2.
I think the 5 million value is really quite good at the moment. I think there's some really good options in that 5 million area. Even up I see Sam was talking about Neto as well. You know, I mean, going up as far as Neto, there's some really good options there. You've got Gundogan, you've got Neto, you know, Saka, even Smith Rowe at 4.4.
4.4, yeah.
There's ways and means, and that then allows you potentially to strengthen up that defence. You know, because even while it's a bit boring going double City in defence for a free hit, which is what I'm currently on, it's still looking pretty. It looks pretty solid, certainly on their recent stats.
Okay, best clean sheet chance: United and Arsenal. Quick one, quick fire. This Each of you?
Arsenal.
Okay, both agree on Arsenal. Devendra Raj asks us, is Gabriel Jesus a punt? Is it worth it?
Aguero's out again, isn't he?
He is out, yes.
Again, it's a lot of money. That would be
He will start. He will start. I'm not sure he will do much, but he will start. And that's a start on the City asset.
I just saw a hand just come out there, just reach through the leg long. I was like, what's going on here?
This is Mariners clearly wanting something out of the room.
No worries. Sorry, Sam, you were saying?
Oh, no, I was saying Gabriel Jesus, he'll probably start. And with City assets, starting is at least something.
Yeah, true. With Pep Roulette, you just want that 2-pointer, don't you?
I just think again, if you're gonna spend a lot of money and gamble on City, you're probably going to gamble with Sterling. That would be me. I'd probably try and find a way to get to Sterling, because I just think, if Sterling's is he still 5%? Is he less than 5% owned? I've not looked for a while, but I think
I can try and find out for you right.
Probably going up right now in ownership, but I think he's pretty low.
4.5%.
And I know he has that. I know he's not necessarily. He's not the player he was. Certainly his form's not there. But it only takes. It's Brighton, right?
Yeah.
I mean, goodness me, he could go crazy.
And I think he's playing on the right as well. I think he's playing on the right, which is where he got those 20-goal seasons. So.
And SJ asks us, despite some immediate tough fixtures for Fulham, are Areola or Robinson good options for the medium term? I'm just going to bring up the stat that was there earlier on. Fulham have the 8th best defensive record in the league.
They've got some they've got positive matchups going on further on 2021 onwards with respect to defence. So they're playing, say, Brighton, West Brom, then they've got Leicester and then West Ham. So the Brighton and West Brom games look okay. The trouble with this is that, again, how confident can we be that they're going to continue this form? They're now playing lots of games in very quick succession. Who knows? But I don't know that I would put one in, but saying that, mate, I think the defense-wise and things, you're really looking at the obvious choices these days. You're looking at the big boys, probably with a smattering of West Ham and Southampton, perhaps, or Leeds even for attack.
Okay, Sam, you've been hailed as the Myanmar Messi. That's quite something, actually. I haven't seen you on the field, but I haven't seen you on the field yet. But you must have something special about you.
That's a new
one. 7 good players for -4, or do I free hit? Grealish and DCL to Smith Rowe and Kane. Or I will have to deal with DCL soon anyway, right? And I am mad to take Grealish. Am I mad to take Grealish out? Now, this is a tough one, because how many players is good enough going into game week 18? I think that's the big question. And with so many managers that I see activating the free hit chip, what does he have to do?
Sorry, Sam. First of all, if I can just make a point, Sam, then you come in. If you remember the poll that we ran the other week, Craig, we got 8, didn't we?
Yeah,
8 was the sort of like the number. So that's my starting point with all this. Sam, do you want to answer the rest of it?
No, I was just talking about 7 players. It really depends on who those 7 are. If your 7 includes Anguissa and Brewster, there isn't really any point in it. Yeah. And also, you take the -4 for 7, so I'm not sure.
It's probably in that territory of danger for me. He's saying, am I mad to take Grealish out? I mean, Grealish's stats are off the scale, but he's got COVID. But we don't know whether Villa have even got a triple game week coming up at this rate.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing.
Quite honestly, I think this is it lends itself to my strategy of sitting on my hands, kicking the can down the road and doing absolutely nothing till Friday, when I'm then going to be completely confused what to do again. But at least I've got an extra 3 days to think about it. And maybe we get a bit more news in the next 3 days. But I think 7's a bit tight. I can see
you need to go more. You need to have more going into
I can see why he needs to deal with DCL, because so do I.
Yeah.
But who's he going to bring for? Is he going to bring somebody in now for DCL, or is he going to wait another week? Because I mean, let's face it, if he brings someone in now, can he just? Is this then creating a problem for next week when he could probably replace DCL with a double game weeker?
Yeah. Okay, interesting questions for you to ponder ahead of the deadline. We have a few more. Will Smith Rowe start? We fully expect him to. Sean Saka Gundogan.
That
one quick fire. Saka for you?
Gundo.
Okay. Gundogan. Sam?
Gundogan.
Both Gundogan picks there. Kane, I think we definitely think he's a good pick, especially with Fulham playing the 120 minutes, like you say, Virgil van Dijk, and he did travel, so he had a nice little rest with family.
And he sits third in the metric. And interesting enough, the metric has all penalty takers at the top this week.
Interesting. Sheila asked us, with a core of Triple City, Kane, Bruno, and Son, would you consider saving the free hit? So that's 6 players there. It's hard hitting, but is it enough?
Has she got 2 free transfers? If she's got any transfers, then you might be able to get there. If you've got 2 frees, you might be able to get there. Even if
you two free hits and taking a hit, I mean,
Well, -4, I could get to 9 and -4. I could do it, right? 6,
yeah.
3 there, 4, 5, 6. 2 free transfers, 7, 8. -4 for the 9th. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, so Sheila, if you're still with us, yeah, exactly. If you do have free hits to take, free transfers to make, do take them. And if you're gonna take a -4 to get it up to about 9 or 10, do it. Swang says he fancies a punt on Jaden Bogle. Now, this is a name that's popped up on our group chat over the past 24 hours. Talk us more through this, Mariner.
Well, the only reason I put him down is I like his name, Jaden Bogle, Omar Bogle. Used to play for Grimsby, so that's the reason. But no,
any relation?
No, I don't think so. With all seriousness, he started in the cup and I think he scored, didn't he?
He did.
There's a couple of Sheffield United correspondents on Twitter seem to think he's going to start.
Yeah.
So it might.
I think he came off the bench. It wasn't too long ago. Came off the bench in the Premier League as well and did the same thing. If I remember correctly, a couple of weeks back, maybe.
And Sheffield United have got a few injuries, haven't they? Certainly in the wing backs. So I think
he started against Crystal Palace a while, like the last game week. So
he might Swing also gives us a good point. He's their second highest top goal scorer.
How sad's that?
Yeah. Jaden Bogle, who's played about 2 games in the Premier League or something like that. But yeah, he's definitely at a good price, 4.3. Playing a Newcastle team who haven't really got going. And guys, that brings us to the end of this show. Game week 18 is the deadline's about 2 hours and 15 minutes. We've got left till it, so hope you'll watch the stream again. If you still haven't made up your minds, if you still need to know who to bring in, who to take out, who to captain, who not to, please give this video a watch again. We do have some questions coming. Okay, guys, I'll come to you just before we log off. Could Kane be a better option than KDB? We have. If this is about the captaincy, we've already covered this. So do watch it later on and scroll back to our captaincy. On 8 players with 2 free transfers, should I take a hit to move MCC McCarthy onto Areola to get 9 players. 8 players already. We did say 8 players, but he's still got 2 8 players with 2 free transfers.
Unless he's got 8 after 2 frees.
Yeah. I think that's what
might be that. I mean, I would never take a hit for a goalkeeper, and you're not. You know, no.
If you take a hit for a keeper, at least take a hit for a keeper that isn't playing one of the better sides in the league.
I mean, put it in context. He might get a load of save points.
Yeah.
True.
But no, I would. I mean, to be honest, look, you don't take. I would never take a hit for a keeper.
Okay, done. Last one. Hadi Ryan says he's going to pray later for a good midweek. Please do pray for all of us.
That's exactly what I was going to say. As I said to my wonderful mother-in-law, please pray for me.
Boys, it's been a great show. Thank you so much for coming on and giving us your time. Mariner, as always, thank you for the hard work they put into the stats, the metrics and everything. Sam, what a debut. Been absolutely fantastic on here. I hope this is the first of many that you'll be joining us here at FPL Expectations for these type of shows. Like I said, guys, we've got about 2 hours and 15 minutes till the Game Week 18 deadline. If you haven't watched the whole stream, please go back. I'll put it straight up onto YouTube so you guys can have a look at what we have discussed in this 1 hour and 15 minutes of the show. It's been great. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for all of you who have been watching the live stream. Do appreciate the support. And once again, if you haven't followed the boys on Twitter, please do at Samuel_DB_021. Nice and short there. And as always, at FPL Mariner to follow Mariner, the stat man. And if you're not following me already, please do. It's at CraigMarias11. And of course, you have to follow the channel. It's at FPL Expectations on Twitter. You're going to do the whole thing, yeah? At FPL Expectations on Twitter. Do follow us on, do subscribe to our channel here on YouTube. Click that subscribe button and click the bell to get notified every time we upload some content. Thank you very much, guys. Once again, all the best for Game Week 18. We hope this stream has helped you. May the FPL gods be with you.
Good luck, guys.
Good luck, everyone.